Okay, hello everybody. This is Mitch Bailey. Those that know me know that I love Wrightsoft. Wrightsoft is probably the best software out there on the market for doing load calcs and duct design. If you're going to do heating and air, this is the software that you really need. It's really the best way that you can actually verify that your ductwork's installed correctly. And that it does the duct design for you. It's just have to set it up properly. So let's get started. Let's take the easiest way to do it is take a typical house and create a file, a project, and just reuse that one and then just edit it when you need to do it. So here's a basic project, and I'm on the project information page, which is right here on that one. And so you can change the name. You can put Mr. Smith in it, whatever the person's name is, their address, 1313 12th Street, and city, address, all the other stuff. This data, if you put it in, it's already there, so that should populate automatically. If you go down here, I like to put in the date. I use the date as my job number, so like if the customer's name is, say, Mr. Smith, so MS, and we'll just go 081017, so that would be Mr. Smith's. Here's the direction the house faces: north, northeast, east, southeast. So this can be changed later. It's not a big deal. And the front door, which way as it comes off the front door, the house front, whichever you want to do. So I usually just use front door, and this happens to be a 3 bedrooms, but you can change this to whatever you want. There's some notes here, and you can put notes in here that will show up on the actual printout. So you go down and you're going to find your weather data. So the weather data, we're in the United States, in California, in Modesto, and I use the ASHRAE weather data. You have different ones, but I just use the Modesto, not the manual data. I use the Modesto ASHRAE data. It's actually more detailed, and so I can actually get a better, reading when I do it. I think I get a better understanding of what the actual is going to happen to the house because it's got more weather data. So just click OK, and then you have to put in an earth temperature city. And in California, there's 3. You got San Diego, Los Angeles, Merced. Merced's the closest, so we use Merced. Some of the other things you can change in here, but I'm not going to go over that stuff. But if you have, depending on whether you got Wright proposal and other things, you can plug in the dry bulbs, the wind speeds, all the other stuff. We're not going to mess with that today. I'm just going to show you basically how to draw a house and put a house in there. So let's go to the drawing screen. And when we get to the drawing screen, this house is a default house, so it's already set up. It has, if you saw, I click over here and it tells me the attic. This happens to be a ceiling under an attic. It's asphalt shingles. It's R19 in the attic. It's a vented attic, and it has a 1/2-inch gypsum ceiling. It has a drywall ceiling. So that's already defaulted. My glazing in this house, typically on this particular one, is a single story or a single pane. It's an operable window, and they're metal, and it has 1/4-inch glass, and it's clear. But you can do double, you can have triple pane, you can have skylights, but this is just single, and so this is what we're doing. This is my default for a single story. And this is for older homes. Newer homes are usually a lot better. Okay, so this is a stucco wall. It has R13 in the wall. The sheathing has none. It's a 1/2-inch gypsum board on the outside, or on the inside, and on the outside stucco, nor insulation. It's 2x4 framing, 16-inch on center, so that's good for that. It happens to be a slab floor. So slab floor, and it does have 20% bare or tile and 80% carpet, so we're going to leave it there. It's in light dry soil. You can put other types of soil conditions, whether it has edge insulation or not. You don't usually worry about that around here. Nobody puts edge insulation on, but back east they do, so you'll see a lot of that. It's on grade. If it's down below, like in a basement area, you can put that how many feet down, like if it's a 10-foot basement, 8-foot basement, so on and so forth. And there's other ones. When you click on them, it brings up some other menus, but that's our floor. Our door, this happens to have a metal polyethylene door, so we'll just leave it like it is. We're good there. And so we've got all our basic data. Now I'm going to bring up the house. So this is the house we're doing, And let me show you. So it's I went out in the field and I drew this up, and this is a fairly quick drawing. I have dimensions. Don't go nuts with your dimensions. You don't need a lot to do this, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we'll pop back and forth between this to show you what I'm doing. So you can see that it's actually pretty easy to do, and we're just going to pop it. We're going to minimize it and we'll bring in. So let's start our drawing. Before we get started, we want to make sure that we have our settings correctly. So click on your setting bar right here. This is the one that's for the right J toolbar, and then go over here to your settings and your loads preferences. This happens to be air for heating and air for cooling, but you can change those options. The ceiling height in there is 8 foot throughout the house, so I don't have to mess with it. If I click on that, it brings up my ductwork. The ductwork's in a vented attic. It's an asphalt shingles, and they're dark, and so is the return. The supplies and returns are both in the attic. They got R4 insulation on them, and the ceiling is average. It's not extreme. It's average, and so we're not leaking a lot of air. It's typically less than, if you got set on average, less than 15% or less is what you're actually shooting for. If you really seal your ducts tight, so you get down to 3 to 4%, that's extreme. Notable would be 6%, between 6 or 10% for your sealing. So let's leave it on average. So click on OK on that. Now you can go over your windows and you put your windows in here. And so these windows have blinds, and they're 45-degree blinds, 50% usually what they're drawn, and it does have an insect screen which covers 50% of the window, and it has a 2-foot overhang on the house, so put that on. But like if it's over a patio, this could be 8 foot, 9 foot, because it could be on a patio. So let's click on that, go OK. So we've got all that done. Just bring the drawing screen back up, click it back on, and we're going to start drawing the house. So if we looked at the house again, that where we're going to draw, and we scroll down here, we see this first room is 24 by 24. This is the living room kitchen on this particular house. So I'm going to just come over here, and I'm going to click on the room, and I'm going to start drawing my room, and I need 24 by 24. So I just notice how I'm just holding my key down or my mouse, and the button on the mouse, bring it over until I get 24 by 24. So 24 by 24. Close enough. Let's get rid of this notification. Okay, so it's 24 by 24 foot room. And then if you look at the drawing again, you'll see there's a 10 foot by 5 foot laundry room, and the edge continues with this one. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the 10 foot by 5 foot laundry room right here, and I'm just going to click on it, drag it up, 5 foot wide, 10 foot tall, and right there, just leave it. Boom, done. I'm going to roll in a little bit so it look a little closer, and if we bring this over, you'll notice that I had another room that was this is the dining room, but it does jut into this other room, as you can see. And I have the dimensions. It's 11 foot 6, but this is the same as across here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the room, and I know it's 11 foot 6. So I'm just going to bring it up here and come across 11 foot 6, and that's that room. So, but because I have these two rooms overlapping, and I want the air just for this room, I need to adjust the living room kitchen area. So I come over here and I'll do my edit points, click on it after I've clicked on that room, and you see these little black dots that pop up. The little black dots, and I'll zoom in a little bit, the little black dots allow me to grab one and bring it down, and now the rooms are perfect. So I've just edited for that room. So let's bring up our drawing again real quick. And if you look, I've got two bathrooms. They're both 5 foot 6 across, 10 foot tall. One's the master bath that goes in this room, and this is the hall bathroom. So let's go ahead and bring that room up here. So 5 foot 6 by 10, right? So we'll go 5 foot 6, 10 foot, 5 foot 6. Now I'm going to do this one wrong to start with. I'm going to click over here, and I'm going to click and make my 5'6", 5'6" by 10 foot. But if you notice, it's not connected. I screwed up. I clicked off. But it's easy to fix. While it's still highlighted with the green move points or the drag points, you can just use your arrow keys on your board, on your keyboard, to move it over, and now it's perfect. I've just slid it over. Because one of the things you do when you set up, when you start, and I should have done this for you first with, go to your grid settings, make sure the snap's on, the grid's on, and I set mine to 6 inches. You could do it to 2 inches, you could do it to 1 inch. Your mouse is so iffy, it's just a pain. You're better off. 6 inches is good. It's going to be close enough for your load counts to be almost 100% accurate. Don't mess with anything less than 6. 6 is fine. Some guys would go 4, but 4 just makes it a little more difficult. 6 inches is fine. So click OK. So now I've got this room. Now, if you notice, there's also, if I bring the drawing back up, there's a hallway that's 3'6". So I'm going to put that hallway in there real quick because I need it to measure off for some of the other stuff. So it's 3'6". And I'm just going to run it out. I can move it later and enlarge it. So it's 3'6" by 16 feet. That's the hallway. Now I've got to do the master bedroom. So my master bedroom was 11'6" by 14'7". So I'm going to just make it 15 by 11'6". Okay. 15 by 11'6". I'm going to click on, gonna go 15 by 11'6". Okay, so I see these things aren't quite lining up, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this wall over, and I'm going to go ahead and make this bathroom just slightly bigger. Just drag it over, and now everything fits. Everything lines up. That's good. Well, when I measured it, might have been off just a slight bit, and something you're measuring insert spaces, so it might have hit a picture frame or something because I use a laser for my measurements. So if you look at the drawing, let's bring the drawing back up. And in this particular house, I have this dimension, but I don't have the vertical dimension here for this room because the person was in there sleeping, so I couldn't measure the room from the inside. So I'm just going to take this room, because the house is really just a big rectangle. House is just a big rectangle, and I'm gonna draw this room up now. However, there are 2 closets that take up space, and these closets are 2'6" and 2'6". I didn't have to measure them. Most closets are 2'6" by default, unless they're like a walk-in closet. So I know this for the, it's pretty much framing thing. So pretty easy. I'm just gonna go up here and I'm gonna draw 2 closets. Closet 1, 2'6". And make it 2'6", and then closet 2 is 2'6". So we're just going to make the other closet 2'6". All right. Now, also, if you notice, I'm going to zoom out. If you look at this, I'm right on the line. Sometimes you might start your drawing and it might not be, you might not be able to continue up. It's like if I was going to draw a room up here, and let's just say there's a room attached to this master bedroom. If I draw this room and I can't go any farther because that's the drawing portion of the drawing that I can actually use. So let me delete that. I can actually take my whole drawing, I just zoom out and I can move it so I actually have space. So, and I just highlight the whole drawing, and you're going to use this arrow key right here to highlight it. Then I can just use the keyboard to move it down so I have room to draw the drawing. So in this case I didn't have to do that. I'll zoom back in on it, and now we got this other bedroom. What did we say it was? It was 10'6" by 14 foot. Okay, so 10'6" by 14 foot. So if you notice, this is the wall. This wall is going to continue straight across from my drawing. So I'm going to make myself a little wall so I have something to go by. So I'm just going to run that out. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm going to get rid of it later. I can come over here and I'm just going to come straight across to where this line is right here, click on it, and it was 14 feet, I believe. Boom, right there, it hits the wall by I think it was 11'6", or was it 10'6"? Let me take a look, see here. So it was 10'6", so let me go back and I get rid of it. So 10.6. So let me take this back to 10.6. Okay. So that makes it easy to line up. I'll just get rid of this room, highlight it, just hit delete. That room's gone now. It's just there for me for a measurement. And this will do this bedroom here is all I got left to do. So I just grab it, come across it, should hit it. Okay. So that's a 14'6" by 14'6". That's a square bedroom. And if you notice this closet, I don't have room for an entry here, so this closet's probably about another 2 foot back. So I'm going to bring it back here. Now it really won't matter to anything because it's still going to be in the load calc, but it will for the room. So I'm going to bring the hallway up here. Now I have overlaps here. So these overlaps are typical when you're doing these. Just leave them. They're easy to fix. For one thing, this closet here is in this bedroom, and this closet here is in this bedroom. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this room, go to my edit points, and I'm going to drag it over so that I have that closet in that room. Then I'm going to click on the closet itself and delete it. Now it's part of that room. It'll be included in the calculation. Same thing with this room. I'm going to go ahead and hit the edit points, come over, take it over, bring it over to here, and there you go. So now I can click on the closet, get rid of it, and the rooms are all done. All right, so now we have, if you look at it, there's the plan, there's our plan, and that's what it looks like. Pretty good. It's almost exactly the same. Okay, now then, let's go back down. So let's start naming rooms. So we're going to name this room the living room. So it's the living room. So I bring up my property sheet, and I'm also it's a living room. We're going to have 3 occupants in it typically because it's 3 bedroom, and I'm going to make it a living room on the loads so that we account for TV and game system, whatever in there. So this room down here, this is the laundry room. So, and it has no people really because it's just going to be a laundry room. Not people don't live there, so we're going to put utility in it though, so we do account for that. And this room here, this is the dining room. So this is the dining, and we're going to go ahead and not do any occupants or nothing else in it. So we're just going to leave it like it is because dining room usually doesn't have TV and stuff in it. But if it did, we could put that in there. We go back to this living room because it is also part of the kitchen. So let's go back. We're going to make it a kitchen because the kitchen loads are a little more. So we're going to take it and make it a kitchen. So, and we're going to make it the 2000 because we've got a TV in that room too. Okay, so now then, let's look at the hallway. So this is a hallway. The hallway, and I'm just going to name it the hall, but we're not going to cool or heat the hallway. We're not going to put any registers in it, so it's just going to be the hallway. So I take out the heating and cooling portion of it. This is the bathroom, the hall bath. So I'm just going to call it bath because they've got just 2 bathrooms. And don't worry about people or occupants on it. Same thing with this bathroom. This is the master bath. And then we get bedroom 2. So we'll call this bedroom 2. So this person actually has a TV in the room. So we're going to put 1 person. A lot of people spend time in their rooms nowadays watching TV and other things. And we're going to go ahead and put living room as the that would count for a TV in there. Same thing with this room here. This is bedroom 2, bedroom 1. And then we're going to put in occupants 1, and we're going to put in living room. Okay, and you can plug in your own load. So you can leave it blank and then plug in your own load over here if you want to. If you, let's say the person has an aquarium, and they might have a terrarium, and they have a heater in there because they got a snake or something. So you find out that it's a 500 watt heat lamp in there. You can multiply that by 3.14 and come up with your BTUs. So this would be 1500 on the extra BTUs because we go others, and we'll click on that and leave it in there. So you can add those loads in there. So get the master bedroom. And the master bedroom, I'm going to plug in 2 people on that and a TV. So or living room. Okay. So we've got the whole house drawn now, but we don't have any doors and windows in it. And we know our windows, we got our default windows, which are, our default windows are single pane metal, and they're operable windows. So we'll go ahead and start plugging those in. Now here's a neat little trick, because if you look at these windows, let me pull it up, we have several windows the same size, 4036, 4036, 4036, 4036, and I think there's another one down here, yeah, no, 4030, and so you've got quite a few windows that are the same. So when you got a lot of windows that are the same, just click on your window icon, put your first window in, and we know it's 4036, so 4 and 36, so 3.5 is 3.5 feet, 3.6, 3 feet 6 inches, or you can put 3 and then hit your apostrophe key, and up will come for your inches. So you could put 6 and inches. Okay, so you could do it that way. I just do 3.5. I'm guy for, I like doing it quick, and that's the quickest way. Now off click it and then click back on it, and click back on the window, get it highlighted. Once you get it highlighted with your drag stuff, to hit Control C and then Control V to paste, and now you just popped a window in there. So I know I got one over here, I've got one right here, I've got another one right here, and I've got let's see, we had one window over here. It was a 3030 if I remember correctly. We could double check it real quick. So I think it was 3030. So let's go ahead and take a look see real quick. 3036. So let me get rid of that. So 3036. So again 3.5. Alright. And then I had another window here. Let's see what size that was. It's a 3020. So 3020 window 20, and we had a door over here. So there was a door. Let's see where the drawing shows it. So the door was right there, and it was a 3036 window. So door. Click on door. Bring the door over. Now it's facing the wrong way, so I'm going to flip it. So it's top right. I'm going to be bottom left, I believe. It'd be the right setting. So that flips it around the right way. And then I need a 3036 window. And I've got another window here. So what was it? So 3036. So I can just cut and paste that. And then I got a 4030. So I got. This is probably a 336, because most of my windows are 36, and I think when I must have wrote it down wrong. So I'm going to leave that one 4036. So let's do that. Let's bring in the window and go 4036. So let's do cut Control V, because we know we have that, and I can just grab that window. Just grab that window and drag it over. And this is in the kitchen area, and then. The other window was what, a 3036. So I can actually just copy this one. Control C, Control V, and just drag it over, drop it in. Very quick and easy. Now I got the window over here. And if I remember correctly, these were 60 windows, but let's double check. It was 6036s. So let me drop it back down. 6036s. So 6 foot wide. 3'6" tall, and since I've already got this one, I'm going to Control C it, also Control V, so I just don't have to draw it and go over to the things. Now then, and by the way, if you have to move a window because it's in the way, if you use you can use the arrow keys on your board to move it up and down the wall. Actual location on the wall is not going to matter as long as it's in the room that's supposed to be calced in. So it could be right on the edge of the wall. It could be, but if you want it to look accurate to the actual house, you know, you can drag it and put it where you want. You can also move it by just clicking on it, and you can click on it, and you can drag it anywhere you want and drop it back in. But your best bet is just to use the keyboard when you got to move one. Now the door, I'm going to do the door up here again. It's facing the wrong way, so we're going to open it. Opening. We're going to be opening bottom left, I think it is on this one. Bottom right. No, bottom right. Yeah, so that's the right way now. And now all the doors and windows are in. So the house is pretty much done for drawing, and I can go over and I can look at my zone information here, and you click on it and you bring it down, and it'll tell you what kind of tonnage I need for the house. So in this house I'm looking for 3.5 ton. It has to be 3.5 ton. So that's what size air conditioner I'd be shooting into this house because of the insulation. It's pretty poorly insulated house. It doesn't have only R19 in the ceiling, and so and there's a lot of windows and they're all single pane. If you changed all these windows to double pane, it would be a lot easier. Now I'm not going to do a second floor, but I'll show you how to do one real quick just in case you're doing it. So let's say there's a second floor, same dimensions as the downstairs. So what you're going to do is right click there and edit and add a sheet. So I'm going to add a sheet, and I'm going to make the elevation 9 feet because we got 8-foot ceiling and we got a foot between it, so 9 feet, and we're going to call this level 2. And then just click on OK. Now then, if you look at your drawings here, you have another level over here on your tree. So click on level 2 and click on room, and I like to do is draw out one big room for something like that. Click on it. Now I can get rid of level 1. Just take it off by unclicking it, and you can see just the upstairs. That's just the upstairs now. So it's very easy to draw a second level. And if you're doing that though, I'm going to delete it. So I'm going to delete the whole level. So I'm just going to get them up here and go delete layer or delete sheet, and it's going to ask me if I want to do that. Yes. So that sheet's gone. So there was any ductwork, anything that it automatically put in there, just took it out. I'm going to get rid of my duct notation. Don't want that in there right now. And so if you're going to do a 2-story house, what you want to do is you want to draw your first floor first, and then draw your second floor afterwards, because a lot of stuff lines up on the second floor to the first floor. But when you're doing it, I wouldn't have a ceiling. Instead, I would have a ceiling partition. The ceiling partition, just tell how thick it is, 12-inch framing, whatever, whether there's insulation between it, if it's carpet or tile above, and then if it has a ceiling, 1/2-inch gypsum board. So if you click on 1/2-inch gypsum board, you can see the gypsum board pops up over here, and none. So in this one, no, we're not. We're a flat roof. No, we're a slope ceiling. No, we're a ceiling partition. No, we're ceiling under an attic. Yes. So that's where we're at. R19. Okay, and I can make this R60 if I wanted to, but you need to start out, if you're doing a drawing of a 2-story house. Start out with your drawing. Draw your first floor with the ceiling partition in. Then you can go back and edit if you need to, because there might be a loft area or one that goes up to the second floor or a cathedral. You can go back and change that ceiling if you need to for that particular room. But it's actually easier to do it that way. And then when I do the level 2, when I put the other sheet up there, I would go in and make the floor, because it's not concrete. It's going to be a partition floor. So you'd be on floor partition. So, and then you would actually have an attic above on that one. So, okay, so pretty simple. And if you do that, when you go to draw the second sheet, all that stuff will be automatically defaulted in there, so you don't have to go in and change anything. If you do, so like say I had to change the ceiling. Say the ceiling in this room, in this bedroom, was actually had R60 in it. So I could come over here and put R56. So I it doesn't. So I'm gonna put it back to R19, and because it's all the same all over the place. Okay, so we've drawn this. Now then, we're going to look at our ductwork. So come over here and click on your right D toolbar, and then click on first of all, let's look at the equipment. So the equipment on this particular unit, it's a package AC, and if you look at it, it's got a 1/2-inch static. So that's that we designed to. So we're designing for a 1/2-inch static. This is the reason, and right up here you can see what your CFM is. So the CFM is 1319. So what's a 4 tons? 1400 CFM. So we're right where we should be on our airflow. You can change this. You have to push F8, and I can go in there and change it to a different number if I want to. Say I want to put a 4-ton air conditioner. I can make that 1600, and it will proportionately distribute the air that way. We're not doing that. I'm just going to do it to the design that it should be. So I'm going to click OK, leave it what it is. So everything's good on this. It's a package unit. Now then, I'm going to go in here, and so I go over here and I look at my static pressure. So I don't have a coil in a package unit. It's already counted into this thing, so I'm just changing that to 0. And I've got a filter, I've got supply diffusers, return grills, and balancing dampers. Now what these are is your friction that you need to add to these that's going to take away static. These are static drops across these things that will eliminate. So I don't have 0.5 inches of static. If I only have 0.31. Anybody that's done the duct design classes for like iHacky and you did air distribution, that's an excellent class to do so that you can, they show you how to design systems. They're put on Southern California Edison in California and at PG&E in Stockton. I actually teach some of those classes. It's a great class if you're going to attend one. It shows you how to do duct design manually. Nice thing about Wrightsoft is going to do all this for me. So I plugged that in. Now I'm going to come over here and click on my duct preferences sheet, and I'm going to look at what we got. So I'm doing flex with Y's, and you can do it with junction boxes, round metal, round branch, but I'm doing flex with Y's. I'm also using a user-defined duct layout because you can do a radial, x-axis, all this other stuff. I'm just doing user-defined because I'm going to draw it. I don't like round registers. I'm going to put in rectangular. So I'm going to put in rectangular, and I like 14 by 6 for my typical register size, so I'm going to put 14 by 6. And my filter grill, I like 20 by 30 to start with. I might need 2, but I'll start with a 20 by 30. Okay, so everything's good there, and now I've got vinyl flex. I'm also using standard round duct sizes. I don't use 5-inch. So 5-inch you won't see on my list. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 to 20 inch. And you can go bigger if you need to. And so my preferences are that. It's good. Same thing with my trunk lines. Again, you won't see a 5-inch in my trunk lines because I don't use 5-inch duct. I use 4-inch or 6-inch. All right. So we're all done. You got fittings down here, but don't worry about that because that'll be a different video if I shoot it. Let's go back to our drawing. We're going to bring our duct notation up. Okay, so if you notice, I can zoom in here and we'll just show the actual ducts. Let's get rid of the duct notation. You see this room has 2 registers. Well, we don't want 2 registers. We don't need 2 registers. I'm going to click on one and delete it. Now, you can't delete the last register in the room. It'll ask you, oh, that's the last supply. You can't do that. So you go, do you want it to do it? No, I'm going to leave it in there. So, and some of them, they put them on the wall, so we're going to move them out into the room a little bit. And, you know, how you prefer to do your ducts, I tell you the best way to do it is short runs of duct with, you know, short runs of duct. This is the actual unit. This is your return air. So, if you can see, the living room's got 3 registers, and I'm gonna break it into 2. We don't need 3 in here. So I'm gonna put one right here, and I'll put another one right here, and then we got our laundry room, and we have our dining room. So we'll put that right there, and then we'll just go ahead and bring this up. I'm gonna put the unit right here, and I'm gonna put my return right here in the hallway. Okay. So now then, I'm gonna draw my ducts. I've already told the computer what it needs to do. I've told it what I need flex-wise. I told it my friction rates and everything, so everything's good there. So now I'm actually going to draw the ductwork. So when I go to the drawing plan, I'll click on a supply duct, and we're going to run a supply duct back here. We're going to catch this room here first. And it looks like I don't have my duct notation, so you can't see what size it is. There it is. Oh, by the way, the master bedroom's got 2. I don't want 2 registers. I just want 1. And I'm going to put the register right here. So you can see it says, okay, I need to be a 10-inch duct. That's a lot of air. And pushing 316 CFM is quite a bit. That's a pretty big, pretty tall order. let's go back to our friction rates. Take a look and see what we got here. So maximum velocity 600. So let's dial this up to 800. Get too loud and it'll be too noisy, but we're going to dial this up to 800. And let's see what we got on it now. See if that dropped it down any. Dropped it down to 9-inch. So 9-inch would be sufficient. I'm going to put a volume damper in it anyhow, so I can adjust the airflow to it. I can balance the system when I'm done. So that's fine. I'll leave it like it is, and I'm going to run a duct over here. So, and you notice that the master bedroom is actually bigger than this bedroom here, but because the house faces north this way, this is west and south. So west and south facing, so it gets a big load. Plus we put a TV in there, and that's the one we put the terrarium in. If we look at it, if we look at the room, we have that extra other that we threw in here, 1500 CF. So if I took this 1500 out and made it 0, watch what happens. Suddenly we're an 8-inch. So loads change things. You got to be aware of this when you're doing it. Loads will change how things will actually, your size, your ducts, and everything else. And this is one reason people get in trouble when they go in there and say, oh, it's a bedroom. It only needs a 6-inch duct or a 7 or an 8. It may need a 9 or a 10. So I took the load away. And if you don't add the loads in, though, when they're there, say the guy does have a terrarium, you know, with a snake in it, you need to have, figure that in, or it won't cool or heat correctly. So that's the thing. So now I got 12-inch, and here in California we're concerned more with cooling than heating. So because we're pretty mild climate in the winter. So let me pull this over. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring this. I'm gonna go ahead and move this wide down just a little bit, bring it back a little bit. So I just got to click on it if it's going to grab it. There it is, and bring it down. I can drag it. See how I drag it? Now I'm going to bring a duct off of this one, and I'm going to come over and catch that. And now I'm going to click on the register, and I'll move it up a little bit so it's a little bit more of an angle. It's not like a 90-degree angle. And you can see it's a 7-inch duct to that room. So I'm going to catch these 2 bathrooms off of 1 duct. And actually I'm going to bring it over here and catch this one. And it didn't catch it, so I got to drag it over. Still didn't catch it. There it is. And I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. So let's get this out of the way. And we'll drag this over. Click on it. And there it is. And you can see this is a 4-inch to this one and a 6-inch to this room. 6-inch duct goes 644. We're only 9 CFM in this room. You almost don't need to put a register. Most people want to see a register, so you definitely got to put a volume damper in that duct. So let's go ahead and drag our ducts over here so we can get to our unit. Let's drag it out a little bit so we can see them. And we'll start running ducts over here. And I'm going to run to this one first. Catch it. And then I'm going to catch this duct over here. And then I'm going to catch this duct over here. And then I'm going to catch this duct off of this one. This trunk line. I'm going to trunk it coming over here. And it didn't catch it. It missed it. Let's see. Catch it on this end, so let me grab it till it hits it. There it is. Let me drag this over a little bit so we can see it. Okay. And that's pretty much it. It sized your ducts for you. It put your CFMs down that you need. You can balance the system to that airflow that's actually showing delivering. This is how you use Wrightsoft. You know, I mean, it's a really excellent program. Good luck. If you have any questions, please post them on the YouTube page once this gets posted. And I'll look at it. Oh, let me do the return. And done the return. What size return do you guys think it is? What size do you think it's going to be? This is shows us doing 1400 CFM, right? What size duct? 20-inch. Okay. So it's a 20-inch duct for that return. And then it should, this is designed correctly. I didn't have to do anything else. This didn't take me that long to do. So, you guys, when you do one of these, yeah, let's take a look at it. All right. Good luck.